like it.
That's an easy fix.
That's a very easy fix. Yeah, it's amazing how that works.
So on Google Weather Channel, we are about 21 degrees. On this, we're about 50 degrees at the vent with airflow over it. We've got the fan full count. We've got all the way to hot. As I said, I interrupt this narration to narrate that we're at operating temperature and the tach shows the engine's running. The vehicle's not overheating. There's no other symptoms other than just the heater isn't working. Actually, the same thing as my wife's Jeep. We call it the Jeep even though it's a Dodge Nitro. But we're going to do that simple, easier to do, cheap, awesome back flush way. It's also more environmentally friendly, and we'll show you what this looks like when we're done. As it turns out, this was a different and more common problem and an easier problem to fix. Let me show you what we did. So while the engine's still hot, I pulled this off. It's just like root beer. I'm a huge root beer fan, root beer and black licorice, but when you pull this off, just like doing root beer, you let it hiss a little bit first, and just, you can always push back down on it. I mean, this is only holding about 16 or 17 pounds, so as long as you have the ability to do that without burning your hand, wear a glove, use a rag, etc., you can open these when they're hot. It's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world. But it's empty. There's nothing but an echo in there. So if there's not coolant that's high enough in the system to make it into the heater core, remember the heater core in your HVAC stuff is up here. If you don't have it moving through that, then you're just going to have air, and then you'll get some hot fluid in there. It'll be hot for a little bit like this one was, and then as soon as the heat is removed from that fluid, then it's just cold again until the next little bit barfs up into there by whatever chance, bump or whatnot. So we filled up the reservoir. We've pressure tested it to 16 psi. It's got a slow leak at the water pump gasket clear under here, but nothing real major. All the hoses seem pretty good. Now, why did I go full crazy and say to open the radiator cap hot with caution using a rag or glove or something? The reason why is whenever I pressure test a system, I've worked in a lot of different mechanic shops and a dealership, and you want to test things when they're hot. Why? Rubber is softer when it's hot. When it's cold, it's really stiff, and it doesn't leak as well as when it's hot. Some cars only leak when they're hot, so you have to pressure test them when you're hot. You can't do that with a radiator cap on it. Lawyers and people that are in charge of telling companies what to put on the cap, never open hot. Well, there's a fine line between getting the job done and obeying all the lawyers. So there's that. I was talking to Jeff, these things really feel stiff when you have that pressurized. They're just like a rock. They don't squish much at all. Anyway, look how much room you have if you have the electric fan. How nice is that? That's pretty nice. So what we're going to do is we're going to relieve the pressure, clear everything out, go for another ride and see what the difference is. If you're low on coolant, all the air starts to collect at the top. That's what air does. It's lighter than coolant. And near the top, you see the engine's all this down here. Your heater hoses are clear up here, right even with the top of the engine. So if this is empty, then that's going to be empty. If that's empty, then you don't get any hot antifreeze to benefit from the heat of it. Hey Jeff, how's the heat?
It's nice and warm.
What's the what's the thermometer say? Yeah.
130 degrees. 130. That's better than the 50 it was at. Yeah, I like it.
That's an easy fix. Fill it up with
very
coolant.
easy fix. Yeah, it's amazing how that works.
Awesome. Subscribing doesn't mean anything anymore unless you click the little bell next to it, so be sure to do that too, and it'll notify you when I post new videos.
Bonus footage at the end.
So I'm with Jeff here, and he's got basically the same car that I have and the same problem. I didn't film before on mine. This thing's just blocked. It's not getting any flow of any significance at all. So anyway, we're gonna flush it out backwards. We're gonna do the backwards flush technique that's more environmentally friendly and cheaper and easier, and show you what it looks like when we're done.